Yeah, I remember doing BII layouts while I was in the Army. Because while I was in the Army, I was at Fort Polk in Louisiana during like the global war on terror. And Fort Polk out of Louisiana, the 10th mountain out of Fort Polk in Louisiana, because there's two places the 10th mountain is. One is in Fort Drum, which is in New York, and one is at Fort Polk. The one at Fort Polk is the bastard stepchildren of 10th Mountain.
Jeez.
So they get all of the shit that 10th Mountain out of Fort Drum doesn't want anymore.
Oh, okay.
So like all of our 5-ton trucks, the newest 5-ton we had was made in 1960 something.
You had a hand-me-down that was, 50 years old?
Yeah, it was all just absolutely ancient. I remember when we finally got new vehicles, we got LMTVs, and the LMTVs had been made in the 80s. So like that was the new shit that we were getting. We would do BI layouts. We would open up the fucking boxes on these trucks, and there's supposed to be a bunch of stuff, and there's supposed to be like chains for putting on the tires, even though you're in Louisiana. So what the fuck are you gonna use chains on your tires for?
Yeah,
You're never gonna need those. They're supposed to be like wheel chocks, and then an oil drip pan, like fire extinguisher, a T-handle for removing the wheels so that you can change out the tire on it. There's supposed to be a bunch of shit in there. I don't remember what it is. But we would do BI layouts, and we would take everything out of these boxes, and we would lay it out, and there would be like, let's just say for the sake of this example, there's supposed to be like 40 items in the BI boxes. There would be like 12. And it would all be horribly rusty, because it has been sitting in there, and like it would rain, and the holes in the BI boxes would have gotten plugged up by dirt. So they've just been swimming in this box with rusty water for like weeks. We would have to take everything out, and then they would just be like, all right, we'll just spray paint everything. So you would spray paint over the rust to conceal it.
Yeah.
Because it's got to look good. It doesn't matter whether or not it works, it just has to look good.
Yeah, appearances are important, but...
I remember one of the times we had a motor pool inspection that like the brigade commander and brigade sergeant major were going through the motor pool. And we legit did not have enough equipment, enough BII for all of the trucks.
Okay.
We had enough for maybe like 20.
How'd you manage that? You just...
Legitimately, what we did is we did the same fucking thing that Fiat did with their rally cars for Group B. If you had a rally car that you were specifically making for Group B, you had to make a certain amount of that car that was available for general sale. And because they were building these incredibly overpowered, dangerous rally cars, and they were all very expensive, they really didn't want to sell that many of them, so they would sell like 500, which is like the actual minimum amount. And what Fiat did at one point, when the inspectors came to make sure that they had enough of these cars available for sale, they only had like 250. So what they did is the inspectors showed up and they said, well, we have 250 here, and then the other 250 are at our other depot.
Oh.
So we'll go to the other depot and you can see the other 250 cars that are there. And then on the way to the other depot, they said, you know what? Let's stop and have some lunch. So they stopped and had some lunch, and then they had employees drive the 250 rally cars to the other depot so that when they got there, they were there. So we literally did that exact thing. We laid out all the BII, and then we laid out the extra stuff. So once the sergeant major had moved past like 5 or 6 trucks, everyone grabbed the BII from the first like 5 trucks, sprinted down, and then set it down next to the remaining trucks.
Wow. That's...
Because we didn't have enough of it. And instead of ordering more, like what you would think to do of, hey, we should order more replacements for this. No, that costs too much money. Does it look like we have an unlimited budget? Besides, we're not taking these trucks on deployment with us. There's going to be trucks over there, so who fucking cares?
I guess.
Why did it matter that we had to do a BII inspection for vehicles that we aren't deploying with and aren't even remotely like the vehicles that we're going to be using while we deploy?
I don't know.
So I would understand if it's like, this is the exact same vehicle. But it wasn't. It was a completely different vehicle. These were ancient, like 5 tons and LMTVs. These were LMTVs that were as old as I was. They weren't the same vehicles we were deploying with. The vehicles we ended up deploying with were all like MRAPs and up-armored Humvees.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really dumb. I remember so many times being like, why are you guys so bent out of shape that the Matic is missing from the expedition kit underneath the Humvee? Nobody ever even looks for the expedition kit. People don't even, there are people in distro platoon that do not know that there is an expedition kit underneath their Humvee. They don't know that it's there.
Yeah.
When they finally show up and they do a PMCS on their vehicle and they go, yeah, no new faults, and then check it off, they didn't actually check to see if the expedition kit was there because fucking Joe Bob showed up and stole it.
Well, you know how the government is. They gotta have accountability of everything. Gotta make sure all their T's and I's are dotted and crossed.
So then order new part.
You should have, yeah.
That's the thing.
Well,
that's
how
the
are
thing.
they gonna know that they're missing parts if you pretend like they're all there?
That's the thing that drives me nuts. Is a lot of times when people would do PMCS. So you're doing PMCS on your PMCS. Just so you know, it stands for Preventative Maintenance Checks and Services, and it's an inspection that you were supposed to do when you first get to the thing. And then you're supposed to do an inspection like before you operate the thing, and then you're supposed to do an inspection monthly, and then you're supposed to do an inspection semi-annually, and then you're supposed to do an annual inspection. And they go up in terms of like what you're inspecting every single time.
Yeah.
When people would, and I know why they didn't order new ones or why they don't mark it on there. One is just straight up ineptitude of I'm not going to check the expedition kit. Nobody ever looks for it. I don't care. I'm not checking the expedition kit. The other one, and this is the more likely reason why they don't order new ones, is because if you are doing PMCS and you mark that the expedition kit is missing, it is now my responsibility to find the old one.
Oh, jeez, yeah.
So for the sake of this example, I am driving a Humvee as part of a convoy from Fort Polk to Pizon Ridge. Pizon Ridge was another field exercise area, and it involves going over a bunch of dirt roads. I get in the Humvee, I do my PMCS, everything is there, everything is good, everything is fine. It is a factory new Humvee. I don't know how the fuck this happened, but I got a factory new Humvee. I drive that Humvee from Fort Polk as part of a convoy to Pizon Ridge. And when I get to Pizon Ridge, once I go to leave the vehicle, because again, you're supposed to do a check to make sure that everything is there. Nobody fucking does this. You're supposed to do a check to make sure everything is there. Once you get to Pizon Ridge, I check and I realize that the shovel has gone missing.
Oh, that's a problem.
Which means that it fell off the vehicle while we were driving. I go report to my sergeant. Sergeant, the shovel is missing from my BII kit. He's going to tell me one of a couple different things.
I'm guessing he's going to tell you to just mark it as being there so no one's responsible.
One, he's going to tell me, why the fuck would you tell me this? Why did you tell me this shit? Now we gotta go fucking find it. Now we have to go find the stupid fucking shovel that you lost from the bottom of your Humvee, you dipshit motherfucker. All right, everyone, get back in the vehicles. We have to take the entire fucking convoy because we can't take one vehicle. We can't take one vehicle to go look for this shovel.
Get on your hands and knees and crawl across the road.
We're doing arms across the fucking doing arms across Fort Polk to look for a shovel. The other thing he's gonna tell me is, no, it isn't. It's still there.
Okay, yeah.
It's still there because I'm not gonna go fucking look for it. So it doesn't get marked down that the shovel went missing. Because now it means that it's either my responsibility or the responsibility of my squad leader to go find the shovel that went missing. Even though it is not a serialized item, all BII is technically an expendable item. Expendable items mean that you use it until it cannot be used anymore, and then you get rid of it and get a new one. But for some reason, everyone in the army has this weird fucking hair up their ass that expendable items aren't fucking expendable. Which is how you end up with a toothbrush for cleaning your M16 that is so worn down, it looks like you let a dog chew on it for 6 months because the armorer cannot be fucked to throw it away and order another one. Because if he does, his supply sergeant is going to yell at him for trying to order new toothbrushes, and then his lieutenant is going to show up and yell at him because the supply sergeant yelled at him for trying to order new toothbrushes.
So you had a shovel, and then you finished with the shovel, and the next person is just not going to have a shovel. And whose responsibility is it? The shovel just got lost in the ether. No one's responsible.
It's just gone. The shovel's gone forever. So yeah, I know why they didn't order new ones, because every single time someone marks something down on an inspection as missing, it becomes this huge fucking ordeal to get a new one. And it's just so much easier just to be like, it's still there.
It's honestly, maybe you just overlooked it. It could be in the back seat. It's probably there.
Actually, I remember one of the other things that was in the expedition kit was an axe. The only reason I remember that is because when I went on a really pointless field rotation, there wasn't anything for me to do. If they didn't break weapons, I didn't have anything to do, so I just went out into the woods and started cutting down trees with an axe.
Yeah.
It made me feel like a lumberjack. It was really fun.
All right.
That field exercise was kind of fucking stupid, because like we went out to the field. We'd asked beforehand, are we going to need to bring tents or cots, or we had
camping equipment.
We had tent cots. It's like one of the military folding out cots, but it's got a tent. Are we gonna need to bring tent cots? And they said, no, there's buildings out there that we'll be able to sleep in, so you don't need to bring the tent cots. We get out there. The buildings were built in like the 50s, and nobody had used them after they were built. The two of the doors were rusted shut. The door that we could open was blocked by, I am not fucking kidding, 6 inches of bird shit.
Oh, jeez.
That is how much bird shit was piled on the floor. Like, we pushed open the door to this building that we were supposed to be able to sleep in, and it was filled with pigeons.
Oh, no.
There were so many pigeons in that building.
Wow.
So yeah, we didn't end up sleeping in that building because, you don't want to end up with some type of weird
pigeon disease.
Some bird disease.
Yeah.
Yep. And then they had to send someone to go back and get tent cots and bring them back for us because...
You needed somewhere to sleep.
Yeah, because we needed somewhere to sleep.
Fun times.
Anyway, yeah, I hated doing BII inspections or TA-50 layouts. I hated doing that shit too.
It does sound like it would be a real headache if you missed an item.
I forget what TA-50 stands for. What does TA-50 stand for?
I don't know.
The Army fucking loves acronyms.
Yes, they do.
They love acronyms, and they don't tell you what most of them mean. I looked it up, and I now know what TA-50 stands for.
Do tell.
20 years after I was in the military, and probably should have known what it stood for. It stands for Table of Allowances 50.
Oh, I don't think I would have guessed that.
Yeah. But basically, the TA-50 is all your Army-issued gear. It's all the stuff the Army issued to you. So what you have to do on a TA-50 allowance is you have to bring all the stuff that the Army issued you. That doesn't include uniforms. Sometimes if you get a squad leader who decides that he wants to be a fuckhead, then yeah, sometimes it includes all your uniforms. I remember having to do a TA-50 layout at one point, and I got yelled at because I didn't put the fucking brown, tighty-whitey underwear that the Army issued me. When I say brown, it's because it's colored brown.
Okay.
They're just briefs.
Okay.
They're just briefs, but they're colored brown.
I did not get an issue of brown underpants.
He yelled at me because I didn't bring those. And I was like, brother, I threw those away after I got out of basic training.
Yeah.
I am never wearing those fucking things again.
What are they made out of wool?
No, they're made out of like the itchiest polyester ever, and they just fall apart instantly. So yeah, I like threw them away. I never wore them again. I had boxer briefs that I wore instead.
Yeah, nobody's supposed to wear them. You're supposed to bring them for inspections. That's their sole purpose.
Anyway, you're supposed to bring all your Army issued gear. So like your helmet, your plate carrier, flak vest, whatever.
I can't believe they include uniforms in that, because our uniforms weren't issued. We had to buy our uniforms.
They don't normally. I didn't normally have to bring uniforms to a TA-50 layout, but sometimes they made us do it. I remember doing TA-50 layouts, and the thing that really irritated me about that was it's like, I am old enough that when I joined the Army, they were still issuing the M81 Woodland Camo BDUs.
Wait, is that the one that's all splotchy?
When you think of camouflage TM, that is the camouflage pattern you're thinking of.
Okay.
And then I was also issued Alice gear. Now we're on Molly webbing, which is the newest version of the way to carry stuff.
And Digicam.
Yeah, no, the Army isn't using Digicam anymore. The Army is now using, I think it's OCP is the name of the camo pattern. Or Scorpion Camo is another name for it. It's basically multicam, only it's an Army designed.
Yeah, but it looks blocky like it's all digital.
That is UCP camo pattern. Their newest uniform, actually I think the newest uniform might also be called the ACU. I don't actually know what it's called because I was never issued it, but the camo pattern that it's in is OCP or Scorpion Camo, and it literally is, Mom, can we get multicam? No, we have multicam at home. And it's literally, the Army made their own version of multicam by basically rearranging two of the splotches on it, and said, no, we don't have to play Cry Precision for multicam. We came up with this on our own.
It's like a 13-year-old on YouTube going, I said it's fair use, you can't sue me.
Yeah, I said fair use. Even though I put your entire video up there, I said fair use. Man, this guy looks so fucking unhappy to be wearing this camo pattern. Holy shit, he looks so sad.
Yeah.
He looks so sad.
Isn't that the UCP?
This is the UCP camo pattern,
yeah.
yes.
The one that only blends into the couch.
I know that this is a very early version of ACU because his name tape and rank and the US Army tape are all olive green. And that was only for like the first generation of ACU. I remember they issued us that uniform. We got the ACUs. We were all excited to get this new uniform, and then we saw it, and we were like, oh, God, we're all gonna fucking die, aren't we? We saw this new camo pattern, and then they gave us the name tapes and the US Army tapes, and then the rank, but they were all olive green. They gave them to us and then told us that we weren't allowed to put them on the uniform because we had to have the UCP camo pattern ones. And then we couldn't fucking get the UCP camo pattern ones because there wasn't enough UCP camo fabric to make the name tapes.
Jeez.
So it was just like everyone was running around with the olive drab ones, and it would result in this weird thing where the sergeant major would come up to you and start yelling at you for having the olive green ones, and then realize that he also has the fucking olive green ones, so he can't yell at you anymore. And then he's in this weird cognitive dissonance of, I need to yell at my soldiers. I need to yell at them. I need to make them feel like the fucking piece of shit they are. But I can't do it because I too am a piece of shit.
You were talking about inventory items. I didn't mean to send you down the camouflage tangent.
Oh, it's okay. Yes, I was talking about doing a TA-50 layout. I'm old enough that when I joined, I was wearing M81 camo, and they issued us Alice gear. And Alice gear, the way the belt is designed is there's these little hooks on the suspenders that they hook into tiny eyelets that are put into the belt, that you put all the kit on the belt.
Right.
And the eyelets are all made out of like brass, and then they put a black coating over them. And because of the way it's built, if you use it at all, the black stuff starts wearing off of the brass.
Yeah, I think I've seen the Molly packs before, but I don't think I've ever seen the black paint. It's always all been rubbed off.
Yeah, even on like Molly gear, they put like black paint over the little snaps or whatever, and then that just ends up getting rubbed off. So we would do TA-50 layouts, and I would bring all my stuff. I remember I did this for like 3 or 4 TA-50 layouts. It took me quite a while to learn my fucking lesson and learn this piece of advice, which I will now share to anyone who joins the military. I would go to the TA-50 layout, and I would get yelled at because they could see little brass spots on all my Alice gear because I'm fucking using it. So it's getting spots worn on it. And also, they don't give you the new... When you go to CIF, that's where you go to get issued all of your gear. They don't give you brand new stuff. They give you stuff that has already been turned into CIF. So, like, I was issued a Alice belt that had already been used. So imagine my surprise when I show up to my first TA-50 layout. I bring all my stuff, I carefully lay it out on top of the poncho, and I immediately start getting yelled at because it's worn. And I'm just like, okay, I don't know what you want me to do about it. I can't rewind time and make it not used.
Were they expecting you to paint the brass rings?
Yes!
Yeah.
Yeah. So literally before a TA-50 layout, I would have to spend 45 minutes coloring in all of the stupid brass spots on my gear with a Sharpie.
Yeah.
You knew it was TA-50 layout day when you would go to the dining facility and people would have Sharpie marks all over their fingers from coloring in everything.
Someone's using a shoe polish.
No, you used all the shoe polish, polishing your boots for the 38th time. God, I'm so glad I don't have to polish boots anymore.
Yeah.
Anyway, I went to like 4 TA-50 layouts doing that every single time before I finally realized this one weird trick. Squad leaders hate him. Buy 2 sets of all of your issued gear.
Yeah.
When you have to do a TA-50 layout, you take the set that is just, you keep it in a fucking duffel bag in your closet, and you never touch it.
Yep.
And when you go to the TA-50 layout, you take it out of the container, you set it down on the mat, and then as soon as the TA-50 layout is done, you put it back into the container and put it away, and then you don't fucking touch it. I literally went to TA-50 layouts with stuff that was brand new in the plastic packaging, and I had NCOs look at it and say, how do you use that? And I say, I have 2 of them.
Yep.
And he was like, well, where's the one you use? And I said, I didn't bring it because you'd yell at me for using it. It's right there. I have it. There it is. You cannot yell at me for having it.
Yeah. Just mark me down and keep moving.
Move on, fucker. Just buy 2 of all of your issued stuff. Go to the Army Surplus store that's right off base. I know there is one. Go to the Army Surplus store that's right off base and buy all of it literally brand new, still in the plastic packaging.
Seems like a waste of money.
Yeah, it is a waste of money, but you know what? Being a soldier is not exactly a fiscally responsible thing to do.
What are you talking about?
And you know what? You can save
so many people got out of boot camp and bought a motorcycle. What do you mean?
And you can actually, here's another fun piece of advice. Don't fucking buy a car. Stop buying the Dodge Challenger. Stop it. Don't buy the Dodge Challenger. Don't buy the Dodge Charger. And I know that stripper says she loves you. She fucking doesn't. I promise you she does not. I'm doing you a favor right now. You need to listen to me. That stripper does not love you. Think about how close you are to an ATM every time she tells you she loves you. Think about it. Reflect on this. Yeah, it's expensive buying a lot of that gear again, but you will thank me when you go to CIF, when you get ready to get out of the army, and you just hand them all of this stuff that's brand new in the plastic packaging, and they can't fucking say that it's dirty or that they won't take it because it's dirty or you didn't clean it, because it's still literally brand new in the plastic packaging.
So you did that. Did you try to resell it once you were done with your service?
I think a lot of my TA-50, a lot of my molly webbing and stuff, I just like sold it to the army surplus store.
See, as long as you can get your money back, it's not a fiscally irresponsible thing to do, but the problem is they keep on updating the gear list, so they might not take it back.
To be fair, army surplus stores will basically almost always buy whatever, unless it's in a UCP camo pattern. Then they probably won't buy it now. But back when I was still in the army, yeah, they just bought all that shit.
Yeah. Even if the army has stopped using that particular gear, there's always going to be some moto guy who wants to buy it for nostalgia's sake or because he thinks it makes it look cool.
Yeah, stuff that's in UCP camo. If you want to be real clever, you can like dye it, which is kind of a pain in the ass, but like you can dye it so that it's in colors that are better than the fucking UCP colors.
I imagine tie-dyeing it, which would kind of be counterintuitive.
I mean, that would be kind of funny.
It would kind of be. Yeah.
Yeah, I hated doing TA-50 layouts. That shit was so fucking infuriating.
Thankfully, you don't have to do them anymore.
Yeah, I'm really glad I don't have to do that stuff anymore. The thing that was infuriating about being in a forward support company is if it's like the movie Office Space. I have 6 bosses. If I screw up on something, I get yelled at 6 times. So because as a forward support company, we had battalion sergeant major and the battalion commander, but then we also had the infantry battalion sergeant major and the infantry battalion commander. And anytime one of them changed, we gotta go to the whole change of command ceremony, blah blah blah, all this shit. They gotta come down and inspect the motor pool. We were fucking Schrodinger's support company, where we neither were nor were not in an infantry company, and we neither were nor were not in a support company.
I see.
Just like,
you were flexible. That's commendable.
no, it's not fucking Okay, so the infantry company was getting a new sergeant major, and I forget who it was, but basically one of the higher-ups came down to our motor pool and was just absolutely aghast at how many oil stains there were on the floor. Oh my god, you mean a shop where they work on vehicles has oil stains on the floor? I can't believe it. They lost their shit that the floor had oil stains on it. We had to spend the next 3 days grinding cat litter into the floor to try to absorb as much oil as possible.
I remember you telling me a variant of the story. I don't remember the ground cat litter.
Oh yeah, that's one of the best ways to get rid of oil stains is to just keep grinding cat litter into it so that the cat litter absorbs the oil. You just have to keep doing that over and over and over and over again. Spend the next 3 days grinding cat litter into the floor so that the sergeant major could come down and inspect the motor pool. And then when he came down and inspected the motor pool, he's like, "Why aren't there any oil stains on the floor? Do you guys not fucking do any work?"
Yeah.
Just I'm gonna scream. I'm
Maybe he was saying that tongue in cheek.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I got these things that I put on these water bottles
Oh, okay.
that are how to treat 1 liter of water.
That's pretty fun.
And it tells you how to do it with a bunch of different things, including the one that I literally always forget all the time, how to treat it with bleach, which apparently is just 2 drops of bleach.
That's a fun little decoration and also could be very useful in the right scenario.
I don't know if I would necessarily call it a decoration because it is actually incredibly helpful, and then it also has conversions for normal imperial to metric.
Yeah, normal for us Americans. It is a
I find that-
decoration. You could have just had that information written down, but you decided to decorate
Well,
your
the
water
reason
bottle.
I put it on the water bottle is because I literally forget it all the time, and then this way it's on the water bottle, so I'm not gonna forget it.
Do you need to treat your water with bleach often?
No, it's just in case I need to.
Okay.
I use this in my in like my belt kit or like my tactical gear. I have 2 of these.
All right.
And I use them. It's just in case I needed to treat water on there.
Yeah.
Because if you need to treat water, if you are in an environment where you need to treat water and you do not treat water, you're gonna have a really fucking bad time.
Yeah. And I wouldn't know exactly how much bleach to put in there. I'd either put not enough and get very sick, or too much and get very sick.
Yeah, it's a very specific amount, and like I have other ways to purify water. It's just that's one of the ways to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of ways to purify water that I keep at my house for some reason. I have the little tablets. I forget what they're called. Aqua tabs?
Makes sense.
I have a bunch of aqua tabs. I have like it's a life straw filter. Is it a life straw or is it an MSR?
Off-brand life straw.
MSR makes a lot of like camping and survival equipment. I forget what it is. Anyway, you can hook it up to a standard like outdoor water faucet.
Mm-hmm.
You can hook it up to one of those, and then it just purifies any water that comes through it.
Oh, nice.
So I have that. I have that one, and then I have a big water bottle that like you scoop up water into it, and then you press the top of the water bottle down, and it filters the water that's going through it. It takes a long fucking time to do it that way.
Mm-hmm.
But that one's really good to just chuck in a backpack, because then if I need more water and I find a water source, I can filter it out.
Is that some kind of osmosis then?
No, it's just got a bunch of multiple layers of like activated charcoal and then like super fine filters in it.
Okay.
So it should filter out any like particles and then also diseases and bacteria and shit.
Hopefully.
I do kind of want to get it's a gigantic bag that goes in your bathtub and you fill it up with water. And then it has a spigot coming out of it. And I think it also has like it's got like a little hand pump or something for it. So it's basically, it's like you can store like 60-something gallons of water in this thing.
In the event that a storm is coming and you need to make preparations in case your water gets knocked out.
Yeah, in the event something like that happens.
At what point is being prepared over-prepared? It's
You
hard
know,
to gauge.
That depends entirely on the person. I was reading a thing because I was trying to figure out what kind of stuff to put into like a first aid kit in a hiking bag.
You can normally consult a list.
Yeah, no, I was looking up like different lists, and I remember seeing a Reddit post, and this dude was talking about all the stuff that he puts in there, and it was a lot of stuff. It was a lot of stuff. He's got like, I'm reading through the list, and it starts off, it's like, you know, Band-Aids, like a wound sealant thing, and then like sterilization stuff, and then chest seal, nasopharyngeal airway, quick clot, like 4 different tourniquets, blah blah blah, and this list keeps going. Like 3 different types of SAM splints are in there, and somebody was like, "Jesus, dude, that's a lot of stuff." And he goes, "The way I pack my medical stuff for going camping is I want to be the person that I got lost in the woods with."
There you go. That's a good way to look at it.
I want to literally have every single possible thing I could need in case I get lost in the woods.
3 bottles of antiseptic.
And it's like, there is a limit. There is a limit to how much stuff you can carry.
Yeah, the more liquid is going to weigh you down.
I think it's a good idea to to throw a SAM splint into a bag, or like a bag for hiking, just because they fold down really small. And trying to walk for an extended period of time on a twisted ankle is so fucking miserable.
Yeah.
It's like a twisted ankle isn't going to kill you. But if you're completely unable to walk because it hurts so fucking bad and you didn't bring anything to stabilize it, then you're going to freeze to death in the woods because of a twisted ankle. So like, yeah, it's a good idea to chuck a SAM splint in there.
I thought you said you put a SAM in your bag. I've never heard of a SAM splint before.
Is
it stabilizing ankle medicine?
A SAM splint is basically, it's a piece of thin, foldable metal that is completely encased in foam. What it basically means that, like, you can use the SAM splint on any type of stabilization or any type of injury that requires stabilization.
Huh, never heard of it.
And it's basically just a long rectangle that is made out of a bendable piece of metal.
Okay.
And I forget what SAM stands for. I think it's an acronym. But yeah, you could basically bend them to do, like, any kind of stabilization injury.
What do you think SAM stands for?
Something and medical.
It is structural aluminum malleable splint.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, bit cumbersome, but yeah, memorable.
Well, now I know why they call it a Sam splint.